What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on my road to 30. This is a series that I'm doing where I share my past experiences, memories, and things that happened in my life that's come to shape the person that I am today. And right now, I am 29 motherfucking years old, and I will be 30 years old by the time that this series is over. So each week, we're going over 1 year of my life, and it's going to take 30 episodes. And like I said, by the time it's over, I'm going to be 30 years old, and we can go ahead and reflect on the past things and kind of just sum everything up. And I think it's really cool because it gives me a chance to connect with my subscribers in a way that I really can't with my other Borderlands videos and some of the other video tutorials, guides, and informational videos that I do. So, let's get right into it. This week is my 6th episode, which means we are 6 motherfucking years old in this video. And a lot happened in my 6th year of my life. And last week we talked about public humiliation, my first taste of being embarrassed out in public. But not only that, my first time ever getting in trouble in school and suspended in kindergarten. And I know I talk about this a lot, you know, the fact that I grew up poor happens to be the reason why a lot of these things happen. And that's going to be another recurring theme this week, is the fact that we're going to have some more public humiliation and embarrassment. I know you guys like to hear me talk about myself when I'm embarrassing myself, because it's funny when people embarrass themselves, and that's probably one of the most popular videos on YouTube, is people embarrassing themselves and hurting themselves, but embarrassing themselves all along the way. So this year pretty much started off with a bang. And not the type of a bang that you're going to hear from a gun or a cannon, nope. It's the type that you hear out your asshole. Remember a couple episodes ago where we talked about this kid? He was like 3 years old when I was 3 years old, and he pooped and shit himself all over the party. That's right. That is going to be me this episode. So, there's this time in 1st grade where I was really sick, and I couldn't stay home because my mom had to go work. We didn't have any type of babysitters, and like I said, the place where I lived on top of the waterbed store, the only neighbors there were pot smokers, and you know, my mom didn't want to leave me with the pot smoking guys that lived next door, which kind of would have actually been pretty fucking cool, but we're not going to go into that. Anyway, she sent me to school, and I'm not the type of sick where you're like, where you have a fever or anything, because I've been those types of sick, and since like I've never been able to stay home when I was sick, because like I said, my mom had to work, the teachers usually let me sleep in class, but this wasn't that type of sick, alright? I was butt sick, and in case, in case you guys don't know what butt sick is a term that I use that pretty much sums up exactly what it is. It's an easier way of saying, you know, I had massive, explosive diarrhea. And this is going to go ahead and follow on later on in my life because I didn't realize this, but I actually am lactose intolerant. And we didn't realize this until I was probably about 16 or 17 motherfucking years old. But anyway, I'm butt sick as shit, sitting in school, and I can't remember exactly what the teacher was talking about, but I do remember my teacher. She was actually really fucking cool, and she used to give me like candy and shit all the time, and I don't even know why, but she used to just give kids like candy. Really cool teacher, but that's not the topic of the conversation. What we're talking about is I was sitting in school, and I raised my hand, and she was one of those teachers that even though she was nice, you know, when she was teaching, it was her time. She was up on her stage doing her thing, and I raised my hand, and she was like, yeah, well, what do you want? And I was like, can I go to the bathroom? And she's like, nope, we're in the middle of a lesson. I was like, I really need to go to the bathroom. And she was like, you're just gonna have to hold it. So I'm sitting there. I know you guys know this feeling when you're sitting there and you gotta shit, and you're like, the first thing you do is you sit straight up and you clench your ass cheeks. You know what I'm talking about, right? And then you start to feel the bubble guts happen. It's like, brrr. People around you are actually hearing your stomach go, brrr. And they look over at you and they're like, what the fuck is about to happen? And then, you know, you go ahead, you fucking cross your ankles underneath your desk, and you're like, ah. Then the rocking starts. You feel it all in your body. You're like, oh my god, your ass cheeks start trembling because you're clenching so hard, and you know, every time they fucking, sorry, every time that they tremble, it just becomes a little bit less unclenched and unclenched, and finally, I just raised my hand, and she's like, nope. I stood up, and as soon as I stood up and I unclenched, boom! boom, with the bang. Like I said, starting out this year with a massive diarrhea shit in the middle of my classroom. So I am standing there in my shorts, because it was probably like, I'm pretty sure it was it was like springtime, like April. So I remember wearing shorts, and I don't really wear shorts anymore as an adult, but this is probably one of the reasons why, because I shit myself in the middle of class because the teacher wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. And this actually starts where I get an attitude towards school and towards teachers, and I don't want to listen to them anymore, and I don't even raise my hand anymore from this point on. Every time I have to go to the bathroom, and my mother even told me this, she goes, do not let a teacher tell you that you don't have to go to the bathroom, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't leave class. She's like, if you gotta go to the bathroom, get the fuck up, walk out, go to the bathroom, and talk to the principal. If they, if you get in a little bit of trouble, go there and be like, hey, look, nobody's telling me when I can go to drain my penis, or in this case, empty the bowels of my asshole, which I did in the middle of that motherfucking classroom. And then my time in this elementary school was fucking terrible because like I said last episode, these motherfuckers I'm gonna be with all the way until 5th grade, and then I actually go to a different school because I'm in a little bit of a more poorer area, and we don't get bussed out, we get put to another school, they get put to the the better, more middle class school. Anyway, fucking from this time on, I'm the kid that shit himself in school, and it wasn't even like I fucking dropped a big manly deuce on the floor. I stood up and literally was standing in a puddle of liquid ass juice. This just seeping down my leg and the back of my shorts, and it was fucking horrifying, terrible. And like, it's not even like if I dropped a manly deuce and I was able to just fucking scoop that up with a piece of paper, take it outside. But like when it's diarrhea, you can smell it. Everybody in the room can. It was a horrifying experience, and they actually had to call my mother, who finally had a car at this point, and she had to fucking come to my school with new clothes, and fucking her and the nurse were inside the nurse's office. They had like this little bathroom area, and I guess they're like fucking hosing me down. It was a fucking terrible experience, and it doesn't even stop there, because later on in this school year, in the same class, in the same motherfucking year, it was Thanksgiving, and they finally once in my life, I got to experience, a holiday in school, because, they do weird things, and they had this whole feast of Thanksgiving. And like I said, I grew up poor, and they were like, eat all you want, have your fill. And this is the first time in my life that somebody's ever laid out a smorgasbord. I love that word, smorgasbord. It's a fucking smorgasbord of fucking food. And I was like, holy shit, I'm hungry as fuck. There's a lot of food out there. They said I could eat as much as I fucking want. So I'm sitting there, and I was fucking eating my goddamn fucking turkey. They had cranberry sauce, which I don't like, but I was eating it anyway because it was there. And we didn't have a lot of food in the house as a kid. We used to eat a lot of ramen noodles and fucking cereal, which sucked because I was lactose intolerant, and it leads me to shitting myself in my motherfucking pants in school. But anyway, I was fucking eating the shit out of this turkey. I stuffed my face. I fucking gobbled every little motherfucking piece I could. I must have had 2.5 plates of turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing gravy. And you know what happens when you take a 6-year-old kid who, I don't know how much I weighed back then. I was getting kind of chunky back then, but I was still kind of big for my age. You know what I mean? Like, all the other kids were probably like 2.5 foot tall. I don't know fucking how big 6-year-olds are, but they were all like, this high. I'm holding my hand this high, and I was like, yo high. So like, I was a big kid. I was always a bigger kid in class. I fucking ate like 2.5 plates of fucking, all this fucking mishmash of food, which wasn't the greatest quality food either. It was, fucking school cafeteria food. But I didn't give a fuck because I was allowed to have as much as I want. And you know what happened? I fucking puked all over the table at the Thanksgiving. Like, there's like probably about like one really big long table I was sitting at, and there is probably about like 12 to 14 kids sitting at that table, and I was the asshole that had to sit on the end out in the aisle because I kind of like to, you know, sit at the head of the table. Everybody, there's like, you know, pilgrims and Indians, and I was like the pilgrim that sat at the head of the table. There's an Indian dude that sat at the other end of the table, which is really racist right now. You're not allowed to do that in school anymore. They're Native Americans. But back in the day, like, they had us wearing like these paper pilgrim fucking shirt. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, and we had like these fucking paper pilgrim hats, and they had like fake feather headrests. And dude, it was fucking, it was racist as shit. But anyway, I'm sitting there eating, and it just comes up and bleh, all over it. I swear to God, like, this table must have been like 10 foot long. I probably got maybe like halfway down the table with vomit. It was gross. And like I said, I like from that point on in my entire school life, I was known as the gross kid in school, and it sucked ass being a gross kid in school because, like, you know, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, kids are cruel, and they don't forget about the time that people puke and shit all over the school, and that was me. I was the kid that puked and shit all over the motherfucking school. But you know what? As much as I look back and I was like, oh man, you know, fucking growing up poor, you know, it contributed to these type of factors because, you know, one, like I said, I've never been around to where I could eat that much food before, and number two, fucking, you know, my mom wasn't able to stay home with me when I was sick because she had to work, and there's no way around that. So it's just funny looking back at it now because these are actually some really hilarious memories that I would love to erase from my head, but they're funny to share, so it's kind of like a double-edged motherfucking sword. So that was pretty much my experience in first grade, the 6th year of my life. I was 6 motherfucking years old, and you know what? These two events actually go on to shape the rest of my life pretty significantly. Number one, because now I know if I eat too much motherfucking food, you will puke. You will puke, and it's not fun puking in public. And number two, more importantly than not shitting yourself in public, I was given the right from my mother to walk out of classroom anytime I motherfucking wanted, which kind of gave me the thought in my head, basically, that, you know what, if I could just walk out of the classroom to go to the bathroom for a legitimate reason, like, I could just get up and walk out anytime I motherfucking want, and that's gonna fuck up some points in my school future later on in my road to 30. So my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a thumbs up on the video, I would highly appreciate it. You know why? Because I just told you a story of where I shit myself in fucking public. So I deserve a like for that, right? I think I really do. I think I deserve a like for shitting and puking, and not only in public, but in school. People don't even like shitting in the toilets in school. I shit in the classroom. I'm sorry. My name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you guys later.
No.
It's not her, I promise! Okay, she's still alive. Get the microchip from her collar, and we can get her back to Sanctuary.